into the tyres and into the brakes during the formation lap. They'll need to look after the tyres. The other issue will be the fading light, the long shadows. You can see the long shadows along the pit straight as we look there as the sun is fairly low in the sky. So I was talking about the point situation. Manuel Alves, the defending champion, the defending overall champion, won last year and leads the way by just 6 points. But Dylan Pereira, who will not be in this race, he will be in the second sprint race, which takes place tomorrow. It is Andre Fernandez who will be at the wheel of the number 17 car. But the drama has happened already. We had qualifying this morning, and it was a qualifying session that was punctuated by red flags. Manuel Alves got to the top of the timing screens early on and stayed there for the whole session. There was a red flag for Daniel Garcia, and then there was another red flag for Andre Fernandez with about 6.5 minutes remaining. But an infringement during the red flag period by Manuel Alves saw his best 2 times deleted by our race stewards. And it means that Manuel Alves, although he initially qualified on pole position, is now being demoted down to 3rd place. And it means our pole sitter is Alejandro Barambio, and he has Sasha Hebrard alongside him. Manuel Alves is demoted down to that 3rd place with Jose Barros alongside. Then it's Jorge Ramirez with Vasco Barros alongside him. And it's Barros who takes the pole position for the Category 1 cars. On the next row, it's Chloe Grant. She had a fantastic weekend at Jerez last time out. A clean sweep for her, along with her co-driver, Rui Morita. She has a different co-driver for this weekend, but she too is in the Category 1 championship. Alongside her is Luis Roca. And then it's Henk van Zurst, a driver who's been doing the whole season in Porsche Sprint Challenge Iberica. And alongside Henk van Zurst, we welcome Ricky Liu. What an asset to have on the grid. The red-hot driver from China lines up in 12th place ahead of Francisco Queiroz. Then it's Kevin King. And Kevin, great to have him on the grid, coming all the way from the USA to race here this weekend. And he is ahead of Thiago Gonçalves, who lines up in 15th place. Then it's Leandro Martins ahead of Maria Sanchez. Then Mario Ferreira, Felipe Nascimento, and Nuno Inocencio, who spent a lot of time falling foul of the stewards in qualifying, brings up the rear of the grid. And that brings me on to the next subject, and that is of track limit. Many drivers losing their times during practice and qualifying as a result of exceeding track limits. The stewards very much taking zero tolerance policy on that. So much so that on the timing screen, they've actually introduced an additional column, a column just for track limits infringement so that we can keep an eye on it. So certainly something that the stewards are keeping an eye on. For those of you that are following Chloe Grant, she has a new co-driver, Lexi Danielsson from Sweden, also in unfamiliar colours because they've had problems with the car from Mentiras Competiciones, and they are in now a car that has been loaned by Andre Fernandez. So the number 37 car in green colours, a little bit unfamiliar to those of you who follow Chloe Grant. But the car is on the grid, she is happy with it, and we are getting ready for the final 3 races of this enthralling 2025 championship. To remind you, a short, sharp sprint this afternoon, 20 minutes plus 1 lap, another sprint tomorrow, and then a 50-minute endurance race to conclude the championship. Hopefully, on the formation lap, the drivers have now generated the heat into the tyres and into the brakes so that when they come down to the slight downhill into turn 1 in just a few moments, they'll have the grip that they need. You can see indication from the back that we are almost ready to go. With the light fading, we can now see the lights. 5 red lights are off. And we are racing. Here we come, and there's a car that's gone into the barrier. We've got all sorts of problems. out on the pit straight. So somebody's been turned around into the barrier. This is almost certainly going to be a safety car, potentially even a red flag. So into the shadows we come. I can't see who that was that went into the barrier, but certainly high drama at the start of this race. And what a start, because that looks to me like Manuel Alves has mugged the two cars in front of him. He's saying, penalty, what penalty? Up from third place on the grid to lead the way here in the sprint race this afternoon is Manuel Alves from Jose Barros and Alejandro Barambio in third place. You can see the yellow flags are out, the safety car is out. I really hope we're going to be able to keep this one going without a red flag, mainly because, well, firstly, we want to see some racing. Secondly, the light is actually starting to fade fairly quickly here. These cars do have headlights on them, but we want to be able to see them as well. So yellow flag is out. I'm looking to see who it was. I think it was Jorge Ramirez, or was it Sasha Hebrard? Both of them are at the bottom of the timing screens at the moment. So I don't have a visual check on who it was that had that drama, but somebody turned around on the pit straight into the barrier, and that has brought out a safety car early doors here. So Manuel Alves, having had pole position, having had it taken away by the stewards, regained it on that opening lap and now leads the way. Jose Barros in second, Alejandro Barambio in third, and Vasco Barros in fourth place. So yeah, that's Sasha Hebrard. I can see certainly the car that's pointing in this direction, and I believe it's Jorge Ramirez in the 88 car, who is the other driver that is involved in that incident. So the two cars, Ramirez started fifth on the grid. Of course, Sasha Hebrard started on the front row. So what happened there? Well, I've no doubt we will find out eventually. At the moment, hard-working marshals, they're going to need head torches at this rate, are going to be working to clear those cars out of the way. Now, hopefully, there's no damage to the barrier, because it means that we can keep this race going, and we should hopefully be able to go the distance. Right, so here we go. The driver's now weaving to keep heat into the tyres and into the brakes in these cooling temperatures. Of course, the clock keeps ticking down behind the safety car. So to confirm, it is Sasha Hebrard and Jorge Ramirez, the two cars that got together. They speared off to the right on the pit straight into the barrier alongside the pit lane. And they are currently being removed from the circuit, and the rest of the field circulating behind the safety cars. Manuel Alves ahead of Jose Barros, Alejandro Barambio, and Vasco Barros. That is your 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're all in the Pro-Am category. Our leading Am driver is Lexi Danielson in the number 37 car, and she is the driver who is sharing with Chloe Grant. We have the Category 1 and the Category 2 championships. We also have the Ladies' Cup, and if my calculations are correct, Francisca Queiroz will have clinched that already. In the Pro-Am Cup, Manuel Alves leads Dylan Pereira by 6 points and is 22 points clear of Alejandro Barambio. In the Am Cup, featuring the Am drivers, funnily enough, Andre Fernandez leads Jorge Ramirez, Francisca Queiroz, and Pablo Hernandez. 18 points between Fernandez and Ramirez, and realistically, those are the only two drivers in the Am Cup. The others, Queiroz, Ramirez, Queiroz, and Hernandez, mathematically in with it, but not realistically in it. And at the moment, with Jorge Ramirez being involved in that incident at the start of the race, it may well be that Andre Fernandez can clinch the Am Cup early before the final race of the season. In the Gentleman Drivers' Cup, it's Daniel Garcia who leads Asia Talaria by 25 points. We've also got the Teams Championship with Lob Motorsport, who lead AF and V Motorsport by 8 points. Lob Motorsport are the defending champions. Francesca Queiroz, I believe, has defended her Ladies' Cup champion. In the Am Championship, well, Jorge Ramirez is the defending champion there, but that incident that we're looking at the moment on the pit straight will have not helped his cause at all. And of course, Andre Fernandez, currently in the number 17 car in 7th place, will take a big gap as he leads the way in that championship. In the 991 Gentleman Drivers Championship is Rui Morita, who is the defending champion, and he is mathematically now unable to catch Daniel Garcia and Asia Gorostiza. So we will have a new name on the Gentleman Drivers Trophy. You can see the car's still circulating at the moment behind the safety car, as our hard-working crews get to work about clearing up the two cars that got together. If you just joined us, well, where have you been? Secondly, it was the front row starter, Sasha Hebrard, who got together with the number 88 car, Jorge Ramirez. The car started in 5th place on the grid. They made what looked like fairly sizable contact with the fencing on the inside of the pit straight, and that has brought out a safety car. It means that the race is still underway, which is why we have the yellow flags flying. So the cars are still racing, the clock still ticks down, but of course it's at a significantly reduced speed, normally about 60, 70 kilometers an hour at the discretion of the safety car driver, and also, of course, strictly no overtaking. So we've had very little racing, and in 3 minutes, 20 seconds, we're going to be at the halfway point of this race. Really good to be here at Circuito de Estoril. Of course, this season that kicked off all the way back in April here in Portugal, in Portimao, and then all the rounds we've had in between have been in Spain. We went to Monte Blanco, we went to Valencia, we went to Navarra, and of course, a couple of weeks ago, we were at Jerez. Now we're back in Portugal for the season closer, but it was Manuel Alves who has won at least one race in every race weekend we've had this season. He won the opening race of the season at Portimao. He won the first race, the sprint race at Monte Blanco in May. And he won the first race at Valencia in the glorious hot sunshine. That feels like a dim and distant memory, doesn't it? And then he won the first sprint race at Navarra in September. And that was the scene of his first endurance race of the year as well. So not only did he win the first race, he won the third race of that weekend. That really propelled him towards the top of the points. And then at Jerez, last time out, he won the first sprint race. And it was at Jerez last time out, we saw Alejandro Barambio and Borja Garcia do a phenomenal drive. That was really impressive stuff to take the win in the endurance race. Right, well, I've got indication we're back to green flag. So although your graphic says yellow, we are, in fact, green flag. So caught us all a little bit snoozing there. We're back racing once again. Keep an eye on Andre Fernandez in the number 17 car. He brought out a red flag in qualify this morning. I was talking to him after quali. He said, well, I was hoping to put a fast lap in before a red flag came out. I wasn't expecting myself to bring out the red flag. Well, he did that, and he qualified a long way back through the pack. Also, it's put him on the back foot for the endurance race tomorrow. But more of that later. At the moment, he is working his way up through the pack. So you can see that at the restart, he's up to 6th place. So good job there from Andre Fernandez, up to 6th place. Remember, our eyes are on him as he tries to close in on Manuel Alves and help his teammate, Dylan Pereira. Of course, Andre Fernandez and Dylan Pereira sharing the seat of that car. Manuel Alves is a solo driver, so he does both the sprint races, and his best finish scores towards his point score. So clearly, if he wins this race, then he will take maximum points whatever happens tomorrow. In the case of Dylan Pereira and Andre Fernandez, they are sharing that car. So one will do one sprint race, Andre Fernandez this one, Dylan Pereira the second race tomorrow, and then they will share the seat for the endurance race tomorrow afternoon. So it is all to play for still. Manuel Alves, 6 points clear in the points championship. In towards turn one, he comes here as the light continues to fade at Circuito de Estoril, and now we're at the halfway point of the race. Manuel Alves started third on the grid after that grid penalty, now opens up a gap of, now it's up to 1.17 seconds, so opening up a gap over Jose Barros and Andre Fernandez in that 5th place still, and in that 6th place, because Alexia Danielson's up ahead of him. Right, we've got a double yellow up at turn 1. I can't see any reason why that would be. Looks like everybody's still moving. We've just lost the 2 cars already, which of course was Sasha Hebrard and Jorge Ramirez. But a double yellow at sector 1, turn 1. So we'll keep an eye on that. But I've got no indication of anybody who might be in trouble. At the moment, Manuel Alves, oh, and there we go, it's the 82 car. So yes, there is a problem, and that has been sizable contact with the barrier. You can see the left corner looking distinctly rearranged for Pablo Hernandez. So Pablo Hernandez in the Phoenix Racing Porsche into the barrier. Now the question is, are we going to get through this without another safety car? Our race directors will be looking at that at the moment, trying to decide whether he is in a safe enough position for this race to continue for the next 8.5 minutes plus 1 lap. So the 82 car, Pablo Hernandez, is the next one to fall foul at Circuito de Estoril. And maybe the cooling track temperatures catching a few drivers out. You can see that the gap between first and second has come down a little. So it is 0.997, so a fraction under a second between Manuel Alves and Jose Barros. Safety car is out, so the cars are now reduced back down to a slow pace. So once again, it's the safety car that is going to join the track, and it's going to take a few minutes to get that number 82 car removed from the gravel and get it to a safe place. So Manuel Alves will be quite happy about that. He's got no more work to do at the moment. He'll be happy for this race just to finish as it is. So, with the safety car out, it's Manuel Alves who leads the way. Jose Barros, who was a fraction under a second in 2nd place, ahead of Alejandro Barambio. Vasca Barros in 4th place, ahead of Lexa Danielson. Great job from her in 5th place. Andre Fernandez in 6th. And Ricky Liu in 7th place. So he's made very good progress. Ricky Liu in the number 93 car started 12th. One of the real young up-and-coming chargers. And Ricky Liu likes to be called Ricky. He has come from FRECA Europe and FRECA Middle East. So those of you who are FRECA fans will certainly be familiar with him. We've also seen him in the ADAC Formula 4 Germany, back when that was a series. We've also seen him in the Italian and Chinese F4, but very much finding his home in Porsche and looking at competing in Porsche Asia next year. So getting a bit of track time, but certainly some of the more established runners sitting up and taking notice as this young upstart comes through. And shows a clean pair of heels, so many more experienced drivers. Certainly a number of drivers from open wheel racing finding their home in Porsche Cup racing. We've seen it with Robert De Haan, of course, who came originally from Formula 4 and has just clinched the Porsche 6th Carrera Cup Germany title and was in the hunt for a Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup. And Ricky Liu very much looking to do something similar there. And he also has his eyes on Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup for next year as well. So we'll keep an eye on him, but certainly great progress up to 7th place. He had a couple of laps taken away in qualifying, which is why his quali was so far down. Just behind him in 8th place is Leandro Martins. Really good to have Leandro here in the number 91 car. Another driver who has really impressed in testing and in qualifying here. So Leandro, really pleased to have him on the grid for this, the season closer of the Porsche Sprint Challenge Iberica. He comes from Porsche Sports Cup Germany, GT Winter Series as well. He won the Cup 2 Championship in 2024. So keep an eye on the number 91 car. And I would just say, hats off to the organisers of Porsche Sprint Challenge Iberica, who are just causing this series to grow and grow. And certainly we've got a big grid of cars here, our biggest of the season here at Circuit de Estoril, and already big plans for next year. But of course, we've still got what remains of this race, plus one more sprint and one more endurance race to come before this season is concluded. And it's quite a late finish. Most other championships have come to a close, but making the most of the Iberian Peninsula sunshine and using this championship to go all the way in towards December. And of course, we'll be back here for the Porsche Sprint Challenge Southern Europe next year. That's another great championship that uses the Iberian circuits and makes the most of the winter sunshine. They say that summer wins are made in the winter. And a lot of drivers here this weekend also getting good experience. Many making their debuts this weekend in this series. The number 11 there that you've just seen on screen, Mario Ferreira. And it's the first time we've seen Mario Ferreira here in this car alongside Alexandra Fonseca. Alexandra, who was doing hot laps for people in the break earlier on this afternoon, really waking up a few sleeping people there. Right, well, we are behind the safety car. The clock continues to tick. We've got 3 minutes and 10 seconds remaining, plus one lap. So when the clock strikes 0, it will be what remains of the lap that the leader is on, and then one more after that. And then we will have our winner. But we spent a lot of this race behind the safety car, Circuit de Estoril. It is a circuit with some fairly deep gravel traps. And of course, it's not just about keeping it out the gravel. It's about keeping it on the grey stuff as well. In the dropping temperatures, keeping the heat in the tyres and in the brakes. Now, I don't have any visual reference of where the Pablo Hernandez car is, so I'm not sure how quickly they've been able to move it, but we will hopefully get it removed before the clock strikes 0. It would be really good if we get this race finished under green flag conditions, but of course safety is the top priority in all racing, quite rightly. So it will only be green flag if our race director decides that it is safe to do so. And they will have all the information as the clock strikes 2 minutes to go. The 3 cars we've lost are Pablo Hernandez, Sasha Hebrard and Jorge Ramirez. Manuel Alves has the quickest lap of the race of 136.784. And he leads the way, having started 3rd on the grid and jumped to the lead. Right, lights are off on the safety car. So that says to me that we're going to get a bit of a dash to the flag. So we've got about 1.5 minutes of timed racing remaining. So it's going to be about a couple of laps left. It'll be the next lap when the clock will strike 0. Then one more after that. So Manuel Alves will be in no hurry to get this race going because he is in the box seats to take the win. At the moment, he's heading out onto the pit straight, so I expect he'll be onto the accelerator, reaching speeds of up to about 270 kilometers an hour in 6th gear in towards turn 1, once we're at the racing speed. The clock continues to tick down, and the leaders should be, here they come, out along the pit straight now. So we are green. It is 45 seconds. So this lap plus one more to see who will the winner be of the penultimate sprint race of the 2025 seasons. The headlights are on because it's getting dark here at Circuit de Estoril. And it is Manuel Alves who jumped into the lead at the start. He resumes in that position. Jose Barros in 2nd place. Alejandro Barambio in 3rd. Vasco Barros. Andre Fernandez has made it up to 5th place. More valuable points ahead of Lexi Danielson. So there is our race leader. 10 seconds of timed racing remaining. He's up at turn 5 at the moment. A turn that is taken absolutely flat out as they head towards turn 6. The Parabolica interior, about 240 kilometers an hour before they brake for this corner, turn 6. And then it's around towards turn 7. We're not using the chicane this weekend, so it is a really fast lap as we see cars going wide. We've had a few track limits infringements, and one of them, the race leader, has had a track limits warning, but I don't think there are any issues. I think it is just a warning. I've got a yellow flag showing in sector 2 as well, so I think our race director will be pretty happy to get this race done and dusted before we have to throw any more cautions. At the moment, Manuel Alves about 7/10 to the good of Jose Barros. Andre Fernandez is one of the drivers who's had a track limits warning in that 5th place. So out across the line to start the very last lap of this sprint race. The penultimate sprint race of the season into turn 1 for the final time we go. Manuel Alves with this very much under control. Jose Barros in that 2nd place. Alejandro Barrambio in 3rd place. Looking like that's set to be the 1, 2, 3. Then Vasco Barros in 4th place ahead of Leandro Martin and Andre Fernandez back down to 6th place. So Fernandez having a fairly lively race by the sound of things. So out towards turn 6 we come for the very last time as the light starts to fade. It's Manuel Alves under control. He's got just over a second now on Jose Barros, so he just needs to hold it all together for the final part of this lap. Into turn 7, the defending champion, the championship leader, is going to open up the gap at the top. Of course, we won't know the exact score on the points until after the 2nd sprint race tomorrow. But as things stand at the moment, Manuel Alves cannot do any better. It's going to be a maximum point score from the sprint races as he comes out of turn 11 out onto the pit straight in just a few moments. And it will be, and who is that? Is that Fernandez or is that the 37 car? Out across the line we come. Manuel Alves takes the win ahead of Jose Barros, Alejandro Barrambio, Vasco Barros, Leandro Martin, Ricky Liu up into 6th place ahead of Lexa Danielson. I think it was Andre Fernandez who had the problem at the end. This is a disaster for him, so he drops down the order, and at the moment it's been shown in 16th place. So he had a bit of drama on that closing lap, but no such problems for Manuel Alves. So Alves takes the win. It's 5 Pro-Am drivers in the top 5 places. The leading Am driver is Ricky Liu in the number 93 car. I'm just looking to see who the leading Category 1 driver is, and that would have been Vasco Barros, who takes the win in Category 1. And 2nd in Category 1, I believe, will be Lexi Danielson. So great job there. So some good racing going on up and down the pack, but a dominant performance from Manuel Alves. Made the jump at the very, very start, got to the front. Held that position all the way. So good job from him. And as you can see now on the cool down lap, as the cars head in towards the pit lane, an entertaining sprint race, the penultimate sprint race of the season. It means we have just 2 races remaining, and that will have elevated the lead of Manuel Alves. So he would have got 18 points, maximum points for that. Andre Fernandez down in 16th place. So that puts him with 0 points from this race. Of course, Dylan Pereira hasn't scored yet because he will race in the sprint race tomorrow. So we won't get the true picture of where we're at, but we know that Manuel Alves from the sprint races, whatever happens now, has scored maximum points. So there is the 22 car, Alejandro Barambio, into the pits in that third place. And in a few moments, we should see Jose Barros appear in the pits as well, and also Manuel Alves. But Manuel Alves has looked like a man on a mission from the moment he started here. In testing and in qualifying, he has done many, many laps around this circuit, and he's put all that experience to good use to take the win. Keeping it on the track, staying out of trouble with the conditions fairly chilly. You could just see that the grip was starting to fade. And there is Manuel Alves into Parc Ferme. His team coming to greet him and congratulate him. And there is Manuel Alves, his 7th win of the season. All of his wins, bar one, have been sprint wins. Of course, he won that endurance at Navarra as well. So that'll be his 6th sprint win, his 7th of the season, as he looks to defend his championship as overall and pro-am champion in the 991.2 category, 992 category, I beg your pardon. Of course, we have 911, sorry, 911, the 991.1 and 991.2. They're in the category 1 and in category 2. What was a thrilling race. So as the light starts to fade here at Circuito Estoril, we reflect on what was a great race 1. The cars onto the grid, and it was Manuel Alves who took the win. We'll see you again tomorrow for the 2nd sprint race and the final endurance race of the season. We'll see you then.